Okay, picture this. Your hotel is working with a digital agency, an OTA account manager, maybe a social media team, maybe revenue management, outsourced, email marketing platform, SMS platform, and guest communication. You've got your web developer, and all of these different relationships. Well, maybe you don't have to picture it, maybe it is your reality. But every one of them is sending you a report or sending you some sort of thing that they're doing inside their particular lane. And you're still sitting in the PACE meeting trying to talk through what all of these pieces are doing to drive more bookings. And if that sounds familiar, this is what I'm going to be talking about today is bringing all of those pieces together. I'm Christine Malfair, founder of Malfair Marketing. And before starting my business of helping independent hotels with their marketing 16 years ago, I spent a decade as a hotel GM. And at that time, I was figuring out marketing for myself. I was doing it with a limited budget, and I was trying to make the best decisions and set the best strategies for the hotel. So I have sat in those PACE meetings with ownership and I've read those multiple vendor reports and I felt firsthand what it's like to have a full vendor stack and still not be able to answer a lot of questions around what is all of this doing. So that's exactly what this is about today. So let's just start with a little research, which says that the average independent hotel's marketing, sales, and distribution network has anywhere between 15 to 30 vendors. And like I said, I've seen this firsthand as a hotel GM. And now I'm working with hotels, uh, independent properties across Canada and the US. And so every one of those vendors is doing their job. The OTA managers optimizing your placement, sending you promotions, trying to find out better ways to get more OTA business. The Google Ads agency is watching the click through rates and conversions. The social team is reporting on reach and engagement. Each one sends a report about what their channel did. And in PACE meetings, the same question keeps surfacing. What is all of this actually doing? What are all these reports? And that is the honest answer. What is this all producing? It's reports. Um, so the question isn't like, well, we don't have enough data. I think a lot of hotels have a lot of data. You're not short on reports. You might actually be drowning in them. This question comes from something else. It's something else that really points to a structural gap that most independent hotels never directly name. And by that gap, here's what I mean. Every vendor of your stack manages their lane, their particular channel. So they're working in silos. Nobody in that list of vendors or those marketing partners or participants are responsible for looking across all of them, all of those, putting a story together around what is everything doing and relative, especially to where our revenue pace is right now. Answering questions like what should we actually be doing based on this information we have? What has been working? Which lever, which channel do we um, do we optimize to get more or less of a specific goal? And that's a different question altogether. And it does require someone who can hold the whole commercial picture together, not just one channel of it. It's what I like to call the strategic layer above the vendor stack. And it's a layer that a lot of independent hotels just don't have. So, when I was a hotel GM myself, I definitely felt this. There was a lot of vendor relationships. I had reports coming in from different platforms. And what I didn't have was someone who could look across all of it and connect the activity to what we're actually trying to achieve. And so, because of that experience and the absence of that, it's why I've built something in the way that I how I work with independent hotels that I like to call the marketing co-pilot. And what I see happening is often that hotels will add something else, another piece of tech, another tool, to try and fix this or add something else that they feel is missing, when really it's going to take a strategic view. The underlying gap is that nobody is coordinating the commercial view. And so adding another tool, another piece of tech, or another execution layer, another thing that you need to do, creates more to coordinate, more reports, more activity, more cats to herd, as I like to say. And the analogy here that I draw about cat herding is that all of these vendors and all of these different things that are going on, all your tech stack, are cats without a cat herder. And the reporting fragments into one more dashboard. That gap doesn't close and it just gets busier. So if you're going to take one thing from this video, it's that strategy has to come before action. And here's what I would encourage you to do. In your next vendor meeting or in your next team meeting, ask one question. How is this particular partnership, tool, tech, or vendor, what they're doing connecting to our revenue goals? Not how is their campaign performing, not what are the impressions over here. It's more around, is what they're doing working together to help us achieve our goals? So is it helping to move our ADR? Are we selling more packages or having more offers or creating more ancillary revenue? Are we actually seeing our direct booking pace improve or our occupancy for midweek stays if that's an area that you are focused on? And most vendors are going to give you a channel metric, and that's not their fault or their failure. That's what they were due. That's what they were hired to do. They're hired to manage a channel. But when you get into that conversation with them around how is what we're doing here driving, moving forward our goals, that is a more meaningful conversation with your vendor. So in all of these partnerships, it needs to be a partnership, which means you need to be a participant and not just a receiver of reports. And number two is, before you ask vendors to connect to your commercial goals, you got to know what they are. You got to know your goals specifically enough that someone else could orient towards them. So when you share your goals with a vendor for a particular month or a particular season, the goal is, well, we just want more bookings. The goal might be we need more midweek business, or we're looking for more corporate business, or we're looking to sell this many packages of this, or we're looking to achieve a higher ADR. And so getting specific on this changes your vendor conversations and your relationships, and you can get more meaningful reports as well. So above it all, ask yourself, so in all of this, in all of the reporting and all of the vendor relationships and all of the tools and the tech stack and everything else, is there someone in your organization that's holding it all together, that's bringing all the pieces into one view? And if the answer is no, then that's the gap to address. And you don't necessarily, address it with another tool or a piece of tech, but having a holistic view of it all is that strategic layer that sits above the stack. So I actually wrote a full article about this. It's the structural gap in independent hotel marketing. And I detail like 3 problems that show up in almost every hotel and the typical solutions that hotels go to, what they do to close that gap, and then also, why those solutions don't often work, and then what actually changes when the strategic layer is in place. And the link is in the description if you want to go deeper there into those problems and the typical solutions, and then the core takeaway. So maybe you're interested in, well, what could this look like for my property, Christine? Well, you can book a discovery call with me if you visit malfairmarketing.com, or you can see the link in the description below, and we can get on a 30-minute call where we talk about your situation. You can just share with me whatever is going on in your hotel, and we can talk it through and see where your big challenges are and where your big wins and opportunities are too. Thanks for watching, and I hope this video has helped you get more from your marketing.